What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with
Gershwan.
And will that make it into the video? Who knows? Today we're back at it to answer more questions from you guys in another episode of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. That is what Evangelium has done. I like to call the Sisters of Battle the Daughters of Lorgar. Am I wrong? How would Lorgar feel about them right now? So first, let's explain why you would say that, and that's actually really clever. And when I read that, and I said that, you go, oh, wow.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So the Sisters of Battle are worshippers of the God Emperor. The concept of the God Emperor is something that Lorgar preached and created because of the Lectitio Divinatis. Well, not because of that, but he penned the Lectitio Divinatis, which was basically just his belief that the Emperor is a god. Mm-hmm. The Emperor always rejected Lorgar's belief that he is a god, to the point of like punishing him multiple times because of it, or like because of like spreading that type of ideology. And yet now you have the Sisters of Battle who worship him. So are they really the sister? Are they like devoted to the Emperor, or are they devoted to the Lectitio Divinatis? In other words, the ideologies of Lorgar. And you're right, it's the ideology of Lorgar.
It is, yeah. I've never thought about it that way, but you just blew my mind earlier, and that makes a lot of sense. And maybe Lorgar becoming a demon prince has something to do more with like faith and stuff like that than like other demon princes and their apotheosis, because it depends differently as to how you achieve godhood depending on the chaos god and the person becoming a demon. So I wonder exactly if we'll ever get that information as to how Lorgar became a demon prince, especially since he's undivided.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a very interesting train of thought, and we'll see if maybe those, like the way he became a demon, maybe a way to kind of help the Emperor or something like that.
Yeah, what's interesting is like with the concept of Lorgar, if you follow his story, he was instrumental in making each one of his brothers turn into achieve apotheosis. Mm-hmm. Fulgrim, Perturabo.
Yeah.
So like all of these, like he was instrumental in like pushing them to reach that point. It would make perfect sense for Lorgar to be that person for the Emperor. The Emperor is becoming or reaching apotheosis because of Lorgar and his teachings of like worshiping him. So it would be really cool for GW to create some type of scenario. This would be super grim dark, but like a scenario where he uses the devotion of the Sisters of Battle, of basically the Ecclesiarchy and the Imperial Creed, to create a bad emperor, or like a god emperor who's actually a chaos god. Mm-hmm. Instead of the whole concept of like, oh no, he's a god of order, he's a god of like the light, like he's doing like he wants to. Like, no, what if Lorgar is forcing the Emperor to become a god? And then you get all these Sisters of Battle who then become
essentially Chaos Space Marines.
Yeah, or cultists.
Cultists, yeah. It's a very interesting concept, and there's a lot of avenues to explore on that. Because when you think about it, like, Lorgar is the reason why the the Imperium has held on for so long. Because the Imperium could be divided in so many different ways, but it seems like there's always hope when there's this god to pray to.
Right. Hopefully, if GW ever wants to pursue another 50K, mm-hmm. Like we said in the previous episode, there are so many ways you can make 40K grimdark again. Hopefully, GW does.
Yeah, but yeah, it's very interesting to see. Like, when you think of Lorgar, you just think, oh yeah, chaos, and that's it. But no, there's like so many facets underneath there. His whole story, from like fighting against a what do you call it?
Cain.
Yeah, Cain.
Avatar.
All the way to getting basically bullied by his own brother Primarchs, to essentially becoming a like super powerful guy that like pushed back Abaddon, is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
It is super dated, but we do have a 40 facts on Lorgar, which I think it's like 3 parts. Mm-hmm. But yeah, if you don't have no idea about Lorgar or his background, I'd say read up on that and then decide for yourself if he is the savior of the Imperium. Because honestly, it seems that's that way.
Or he might have been also just like almost like Segra.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the back, just kind of laughing, like, haha, you punished me, and now look at you.
Yeah, that is true.
A good question, though.
Mm-hmm. Very good, thought-provoking question.
Next one.
This one is by... we kind of already answered that one.
Kurt Gamer. Is there any benevolent chaos god? If yes or no, why? No, there isn't. Well, benevolent means what?
Like, it's kind of similar to omnipotent, like all-powerful or whatever.
Oh.
But no, chaos has their... Like, they're not all strong. They're gods, yes, but
Yeah.
they're not, like, gods in the sense of there is nothing above them. They have their high points, their weak points. That's why the wheels of chaos is always turning. Sometimes Nurgle's the strongest, sometimes Khorne's the strongest. But it seems that no matter how strong they are, they're all weak against Drago.
Yeah.
So the only benevolent one is Drago.
Yeah. Unless GW decides to just throw him into the warp and never talk to him or talk about him again.
Yeah,
Which has happened.
it has.
No, but it's cool to like the four chaos gods are all powerful, yet they balance each other out. And even when they don't, when they unify, the universe or the warp seems to like balance it out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Nosvets Gaming says, how much autonomy do Space Marine chapters have to operate with direct orders from the Emperor? You guys nearly read my question the last time. You said my name on the channel at least. LOL. So
sorry.
Yes, sorry. Sometimes we jump the gun and we think your name looks a lot like another one, but hey, it happens. But we got you this time, homie. Basically, Space Marines are pretty much 100% autonomous, except when it comes to tides. As long as they deliver their tides to the Inquisition, the AdMech, or whatever it is, they'll be left alone.
With the exception of the Emperor, though. Like, if the Emperor ever decide, like, if he were to ever speak to a chapter master, especially if it's a chapter master from a First Founding Legion, and that First Founding Legion shows up and is like, the Emperor said, then they follow. Because at the end of the day, they are the angels of death, or they were, I guess you could say, like, they are the warriors of the Emperor.
Yeah, the Emperor's word is absolute.
Even, I would argue, like, the Minotaurs, which are supposed to be, like, controlled by the Ecclesiarchy.
Or no, the High Lords.
Yeah. They, like, if the Emperor were to ever just, like, send them a message, I don't think they would. They would capitulate.
Yeah. Capitulate.
Capitulate.
Yeah. It's all wishy-washy with 40K. Because, I mean, you could just say, well, the Emperor said this. And it's like, well, what do you got to back you up?
Right. So there would have to be, like, some, like, that's what I meant, like by a chapter master or something. But somebody has to speak to them. And I think at the end of the day, like, they would bend the knee to the Emperor because it's the Emperor.
Yeah, like, it's not like some Xenos will come up to a Space Marine and be like, the Emperor said to kill yourself, and they do it.
Well, because now you made me think, the Blood Angels successor chapter, is it the Flesh Terrors? Or the ones that, like, get visited by a demon of Khorne in the form of Sanguinius, and basically say the same thing: kill yourselves. The ones that kill themselves are not worthy. The ones that don't then become members of, like, whatever that thing is. So yeah, I guess you're right. I don't know.
Isaac Langdon, when is it time for 40K to jump the shark?
What's that mean?
Right? I thought you were going to say, when is it time to jump ship from 40K?
Oh, never.
Yeah.
Ever.
I know a lot of people have been playing 40K from, like, years ago to people that have just started just yesterday. And I think it's almost like any hobby. You go through different waves where it's like you're all invested for years, and then you step away from the hobby, then you come back, and now it's like you're learning things from, like, way back when. But yeah, I think it's never a good time to completely, like, I'm never playing this game again. I'm selling my armies. I'm unsubscribing from all these videos. I'm going to cancel my White Dwarf subscription. Because, honestly, you got into this hobby for a reason. It's something that you don't really see in too many other, like, types of IPs and media. It's very unique, and I think that's what draws many people into it.
Yeah. And I think, like, it's almost like an investment. Like, if you were to have started a orc army back when Rogue Trader was around, and you like dust it off, it comes out of your garage, you can make money off of that, like a lot of money. So it's one of those games where the value in terms of like monetary values there, the emotional values there, and the creativity is there. So just keep playing and hold on tight.
Right. Because even if you buy something nowadays and you think, well, this won't be worth anything for 20 years, if you're a really good painter, if you're a really good conversion person, like green stuff and stuff like that, you can make a $20 model sell for like $200 easy.
Or even just like certain things like the old metal models, like the Mega Arbor Knob. Those things are expensive on eBay right now. So it's the money's there, and then like, you know, sentimental value there is there too.
Yeah, that's true. This next one is by Rainout 112. Is it possible to hijack an Imperial Knight or Titan, like trying to use it without being its pilot or princeps? And are there any security measures that a Titan cockpit or bridge would have in the event of being boarded?
Yes, like it's really difficult to hijack a Titan, but it's not impossible. I think it's important in 40K to always have that possibility of something happening. The Princep itself is tied to the Titan, like mentally, spiritually, physically.
Yeah.
So it's very, very difficult. But that doesn't mean that if you're a strong enough psyker, you can't do it.
Right. Yeah. And then like there's different types, depending on the Titan or anything that you're on, there's various ways of like to avoid getting like captured or boarded and stuff like that. So
yeah.
This next question comes from none other than the big one. How does Belisarius Cawl, or does Belisarius Cawl still have a penis? And if not, how does he score with those hot bodacious Imperium babes?
Kindness, understanding, and vulnerability. Those three things Belisarius Cawl has, and he did say Belisarius Cawl, right? Yeah. And he uses that as a way to get into women's hearts and learn from him, because that's what you should demonstrate.
And you have to demonstrate that because you don't have multiple mechadendrites and Cawl inferiors. Exactly. So if one Cawl is not enough, bring in all of them.
Yeah.
And he's got the lube ready.
He does. It's a canticle oil, but yeah. And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thank you guys so much for listening and hanging out with us, and we'll talk tomorrow.
Canticle oils. That's all I got to say.
This was Gershwan.
Sound Alchemist out.
Always used to put my freedom first.